if someone would tell me that Malema wouldn't win these elections, of course, we know when it comes to politics and in the continent of Africa, the West is fully involved. They're always hiding behind. They tell you they are not involved or they leave it to you to do what you want to do, but they are involved. Because when I realized that majority of the votes that came from the diaspora was against Malema, I'm like, who the hell are those people who voted against Malema? Like, even though there are things about Malema that doesn't resonate with me, I still like the fire in him, and I prefer that if he was the one, I preferred that he was the one that won the elections, Your Majesties. Now, what do you think about what is going down in South Africa? It was up here. Okay, I'm gonna bring some clips soon about our king, the way he expressed himself and everything. But I think it was up here. It's not up to 2 3 months where we talk about the whites only town in South Africa, the region where there is no blacks that is allowed there, and this have been happening under the regime of majority of presidents, African presidents who took over, Your Majesties. This happened and people watched it. In short, they opened their mouth to tell you that Malema, what's his name, Mandela is not a hero to them. This is a slap on our faces as the African people. Okay, and they went further to say that blacks are only workers. Any blacks you see in the town is only a worker, maybe a cleaner, a nanny, a nurse, or what have you, or helper, a housekeeper. There is no blacks that live there as per, okay, this is where we reside or this is our home. And to me, it's a bit off because this is the motherland. These people, their ancestors came in as settlers. Some of you don't like the word settlers, but that is what is there. They came in as settlers, they settled, and they refused to leave, and they gave birth to descendants, and these descendants are still now fighting that it is their home. I don't know how to reconcile this. How is Africa your home when you obviously came from Europe? This is exactly the situation of the Namibians, where they lived together this way and they started collecting their land by force from the farmers. They collected the land that the farmers own. They prohibited the farmers from farming. Europeans, so in Africa, dragging land. Majesties. I just hope that majority of the countries in the continent don't become like this. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, you have to start returning home, and start taking hold of your inheritance as soon as possible. I am saying this because this little trip I went for, I discovered that there's a lot of white people in the continent. Like, it wasn't like this some years back. We are joking, eh? They are telling you, don't go to Africa. Africa is poor. Don't go to Africa. Africans don't love you. And my majesties, you are there. You don't want to come back home and get hold of a place for yourself. These people are running away from Europe and America, and they are coming to Africa. The number of white people I saw in Ghana, I was surprised, and I keep asking, what are they doing here? Like, these people own stores. And our gullible brothers and sisters who see white people as gods, worship these people, respect these people, they are living in Africa so peacefully. And then I went to Togo. They are there. Your Majesties, they are there. They are in Cameroon. So why do you think it's like whites are beginning to relocate? Whites are beginning to relocate to Africa. This is not a joke, but this is something I saw.
ANC joining with DA gives that highlight a clarion call that the Africans have failed to manage and govern their country, and as such, this is halfway between ANC, a liberation struggle body, betraying the struggle and going back to the same colonial party that was the reason of the struggle. Now they're walking back to the table for negotiations. South Africa, ANC and DA negotiations cannot take place in the ambit of 2024 elections. But if that negotiation must start, it must start in 1994 by visiting the sunset clauses, by visiting the truth and reconciliation issues, because fundamentally the surgence of DA into the political arena means a permanent burial of the liberation struggle atrocities that were conducted by the colonial system. And now when the colonialists are back in power, they will make sure that the blacks are totally destroyed, sent to court and arrested, and them as white people can begin to take the upper hand of correcting the wrongs of the blacks and beginning to restore South Africa to their colonial agenda, which they had before 1994. I put up a poster some years ago, almost 3 years ago, if not 2.5 years ago, of the Sunset Clause agreements, allow the blacks to get into power. And when they get into power, identify the key political leaders within the African National Congress, give them business, corrupt all of them. Underline the word corrupt, corrupt all of them. Allow them to run the government and run it down. They must run the government and run it down. And at the end of the 25 years, they're all corrupted. Arrest all of them and publicize the corruption of the black people until the black people themselves feel that their black leaders have betrayed them. And the very same black people that have been colonized would wish and pray for the return of the colonial system, which will then give them bread and milk at their doorsteps every morning. So there you have it. And if I was the National Party, the NP, which transformed itself into the DA, this is how I would think. For it will not be easy to hand over power without blackmailing those that you are giving power to, so that you can return power back to yourself. And DA has played a fantastic game, right on the note, and have played every card in the book, leaving ANC no other choice but to unite with the colonial system to be able to restore South Africa.
I'm going to share my experience at the borders. While I was at the mausoleum of Kwame Nkrumah, I was like, I wish we still have people like you who are ready to just sacrifice their own peace, joy, and happiness for the sake of the motherland. Kwame Nkrumah did a lot for the independence of a lot of African countries. Okay, it was when Ghana got independence that it was like an open door through the help of Kwame Nkrumah. Like Kwame Nkrumah was taking resources from Ghana to help other African countries gain strength. Okay, gain more power and gain independence. So while I was at the Muslim, I was like, I wish you were here, or I wish I was when you were around, and to hear firsthand from you. I wish we have people like you who could go to the lengths that you went to. Not only for your own land where you were born, where you knew yourself, but for other regions of the motherland. Kwame Nkrumah was playing double. He had, see, this man, like when I heard most of these things about Kwame Nkrumah, I was like, he did a lot. It was even a risky game. And that was why the West worked with others to take him out. Because he was on his way to China, was it China or Japan, where they told him at the airport that your government have been taken over, and he had to rush back to the continent. They worked to take him out because they knew that, they discovered that he was playing them. And why do you think Kwame Nkrumah did this? Because he wants his brothers and sisters to be free from the hold of colonialism. And this time today, we are the ones that are taking ourselves to dash these people. We are opening our borders. We don't search them. When I tell you that the face of these people is passports, you people think I'm joking here. I saw it myself. I'm going to share my experience, Your Majesties. So for the fact that we are this state in the motherland where we think that we have woken up to see that a white man can still have the kind of sovereignty and supremacy that that they have in South Africa is a slap on our faces as the African people. To see that a white man can even win the election to the deputy is a slap on our face. I was thinking that we are wise. I was thinking that the fire coming right now is opening our eyes. But a lot of us are still sleeping. And why are we still sleeping? We are sleeping because of religion. Most of you say we should not blame religion. But in all the slave castles and slave coasts and everywhere that they were carrying slaves from throughout West Africa that I have seen, there is a church by the side. In all the slave dungeons, there are churches. What are the churches doing around slave dungeons? These people will be on top praying to their God, and they keep your ancestors and my ancestors underneath them, sweating, defecating on themselves, urinating on themselves, dying there. Oh my goodness, that's a horrible thing, Your Majesty. And I can't just imagine that someone who claims knows the source of life can do that to a human. I can't imagine, Your Majesties. So religion work hand in hand with slavery. These people came in and they knew that for them to get hold of us more, they had to come with a God. Because they know we're spiritual people. So when I talk about religion and politics here, I tell you that it's working hand in hand, slavery. Don't be angry, because that is how it is. Go to all the slave castles, you see churches. Anglican church, Methodist church. What are these church there doing? And they're as old as the slave dungeon. What are they doing? All those times that they have slaves, what were they going to preach for themselves inside these churches? What kind of preaching were they giving to themselves inside these churches, Your Majesties? So you have to answer me. Eh? Most of you that are now the custodian of these people, you don't want somebody to talk. When they were keeping our ancestors inside the dungeon and selling them like goods and services, what were they preaching to themselves? And we don't want to hear the truth. We don't want to tell ourselves the truth. We want to live in the lies and fairy tale that the old world have put in our heads. Should I say the old world? The new world. Okay? Because all this religion are new age teachings. Some of you will go, oh, new age, new age, new age. Do you know what is new age? Christianity, Islam are new age. Prior to Christianity and Islam, a world people lived, existed, communicated with divinity. They ascended. That was when we had people who were having levitations. We had people who were raising people from the dead. Not what people are doing now, that they use diabolical powers to do it, to get you to come to their churches. Prior to Christianity and Islam, we had a world. So Christianity and Islam is new age teaching. Majesties, let's be frank. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Our continent will be taken right before our eyes from us if care is not taken. And the example is what we are seeing in South Africa. Now that it's going to be a white man, or it is a white man, what do you think will happen? A lot of atrocities will be committed now. But I am not going to give up. I believe that there will be an end to all these things, and we have to contribute to speed the process. We have to contribute. We have a lot to do. What do you think, Majesties? Leave your thoughts and opinion there at the section, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive. Always, Your Majesties. Bye for now.